Hello, and welcome to today's Core and Crow sequence. 30 minutes to focus on strengthening the core as well as learning or improving your crow postures. Crow and side crow. If you're not familiar with them, don't worry, I'll take you step by step. If you're not familiar with the core muscles, I will leave a short blog post for you to go back to whenever you have time. And when you are ready, come to an all fours position. Get started. Come to the center of your mat in an all fours position. Shoulders above the wrist, hips above the knees. We begin by warming up the spine with cat-cow. As you inhale, lengthen the front of the body, arch the spine, look forwards and up. Exhale, pull the navel into the spine, compress the front of the body and lengthen the back. Inhale, lengthen the front, compress the back, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, crunch. 2 more. Nice and slow with your breath. Last one. Lengthen the front, compress the back. Exhale, lengthen the back and compress the front. And coming back into neutral, take a deep inhale and raise the right arm up towards the ceiling. An open twist, opening up the chest. Stretch up through the right fingertips as high as you can. Exhale, thread the right arm behind the left wrist and bring the right ear and shoulder to touch the floor. Twisted child. If this is not comfortable for the neck, please slide a block underneath the ear or use more weight, more pressure into the left hand so there's less weight into your right shoulder and ear. If the neck is comfortable, then you can option bind. Bring the left arm out and around to grab a hold towards your right hip. Hold it here in a passive twist. Warming up the spine, stretching out the side core. Listen carefully to come out. Bring the left hand onto the mat first. Roll onto the forehead so the neck is in line with the spine, and then place the right hand underneath the shoulder to push up into all fours for the other side. Deep inhale, raise the left arm up, open, twist. Keep the left hip down, but stretch and extend the left fingertips up as high as you can. And exhale, thread the left arm behind the right wrist. Left shoulder and ear onto the mat. Make yourself comfortable first and foremost. Ensure the neck is stretching out in a comfortable position and there's no pain. If there's no pain, right arm wraps around into a bind. If there is, adjust. There should never be any pain in the postures, just intense stretching sensations. To release, bring the hand down first, unbind, forehead at center, left hand underneath the left shoulder, and push up into all fours for spine balance. Pull the navel up into the spine so your back is in line, shoulders and hips. And slide the right leg back and extend it up parallel to the floor without opening the hips. If the hips opened up, bring the right hip down, roll the hip down using your inner thigh muscles. Then extend the right toes as far back as you can. Option to keep both hands down, or if you have the balance, extend the left arm forwards with the thumb facing up to the ceiling, the palm towards the right. The neck stays in line with the spine, so the chin is slightly in and the gaze is down onto the mat. Now that you're in, pull the navel back up into the spine, making sure you're not hammocking or hanging in the lower back. And then extend the toes back away from the fingertips, warming up the core by holding it here. Just a few more breaths. Lifting the leg up higher will strengthen the glute. Lifting the arm up higher will strengthen the muscles around the shoulders. Hold it here. Release. Knee and hand down, other side. Slide the left leg back. Extend the left leg up parallel to the floor. Roll the left hip down, bring it back in line. Pull the navel up into the spine and optional, extend the right fingertips forwards. As you stretch the fingertips away from the toes, lock the knee, lock the elbow. Keep the neck in line with the spine and pull the navel back up into the spine once again. Active core. Should be a little bit of shaking. If not, stretch the fingertips further away from the toes. Lift the leg up higher, lift the arm up higher. Pull the navel back up into the spine and hold it. Last 5, keep stretching. 3, 2, 1, release. Bring the hands and knees down. Spine balance crunches are next. Same thing, extend the right leg back and the left fingertips forwards. Come into spine balance. Now, as you exhale, bring the left elbow and the right knee towards the center. Crunch the front of the body. Look for the navel. Inhale, lengthen the front of the body. Kick the toes and the fingertips up to the ceiling, arching into the spine. Exhale, crunch. Compress the front of the body. Lengthen the back just as you do in cat-cow. Inhale, lengthen. 2 more. Exhale, crunch. Everything at center. Compress the front of the body. Lengthen the back. Elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Last one. Exhale, crunch. Inhale back into spine balance. Hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Hands, knee down. Other side. Left leg, slide it back. Reach the right fingertips forwards. Come into spine balance on this side. As you exhale, crunch at center. Compress the front of the body. Inhale, lengthen, arch the spine. Reach the fingertips and the toes up. Exhale, crunch. Compress the front of the body. Inhale, lengthen. Compress the back of the body and lengthen the front. 2 more. Exhale, crunch. Still warming up the spine, warming up the core. Inhale, lengthen. Last one. Exhale, crunch. And now back into spine balance. Extend the fingertips away from the toes and hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Bring the hands and knee down. Tuck the toes, press the hips to the heels to lengthen the lower back and raise the seat bones up into our first downward dog. Walk the legs out a few times to warm up the hips, stretch out the back of the legs, maybe swaying the hips side to side if that feels good, just loosening it all up. Then come back to downward dog with both feet hip width apart, knees as bent as necessary to ensure you have the forward rotation, the spine straight. Ready to move into a flow from downward dog into plank and upward dog. Moving with your breath, inhale, raise the heels up, shift the weight forwards, come into high plank, push the floor away. Shift the weight a little bit forwards. And exhale, bring the knees, chest, and chin down onto the mat, keeping the elbows into the waist. Inhale, slide forwards, upward dog, shoulders away from the ears, stretch the front of the body. Exhale, the forehead down, tuck the toes, press the hips to the heels, and raise the seat bones back up into downward dog. Second set. Inhale, raise the heels up, shift the weight forwards, plank. Exhale, break the plank, knees, chest, and chin down, elbows in. Inhale, slide forwards, upward dog. Exhale, forehead down, tuck the toes, hips to heels, seat bones up, downward dog. Inhale, shift the weight forwards, plank. Exhale, break the plank. Inhale, slide forwards, upward dog. Exhale, forehead down, downward dog. Last one, inhale, shift the weight forwards, hold your plank. Exhale, break the plank, knees, chest, and chin down. Inhale, slide forward, upward dog. Exhale, forehead down, tuck the toes, hips to heels, downward dog. And take 2 deep breaths here. You can always rest the knees onto the floor if you need to, before we move into downward dog box abs. All right, ready to start? Raise the heels up, shift the weight forwards as if you're coming into plank, but this time bend the knees and bring the thighs parallel to your arms and allow the knees to hover just above the floor an inch or 2. Beautiful. Bring the hips back up, downward dog. Second set. Inhale, raise the heels up, shift the weight forwards, bend the knees, thighs parallel to the arms, torso parallel to the floor. Knees hover above the floor, push the floor away. Release, downward dog. Take a deep breath. 2 more to go. Shift the weight forwards, shoulders above the wrist, bend the knees, thighs parallel to the arms, knees underneath the hips, pull the navel up into the spine, hold it. Release back into downward dog. Last one. Shift the weight forwards, come into the thighs parallel to the arms, knees hover above the floor. Hold it there. Last 5, 4, keep holding it. 3, 2, 1. Release the knees down, toes touch, hips to heels, wide child. Stretch the fingertips towards the top corners of the mat and the hips to the heels. A brief stretch as we release the wrists. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders and push yourself back up into all fours. From all fours, tuck the toes, hips to heels, raise the seat bones up, downward dog. Downward dog, core crunches. Shift the weight into the left leg, raise the right leg up, 3-leg dog. As you exhale, shift the weight forward, shoulders above the wrist, and bring the right knee towards your left tricep, crossing over. This will engage the obliques. Inhale, step back into 3-leg dog, right leg up into the air. Exhale, crunch forwards. This time bring the right knee to the right tricep, holding it there, shoulders above the wrist. If you want to make it more challenging for yourself, you can always bend the elbows. Release back, 3-leg dog. Last one, exhale, crunch, knee towards the forehead at center, shoulders above the wrist. Micro bend or bend the elbows for an extra challenge. Hold it here, 3, 2, 1. Release, right leg up. And bring the right foot down, other side. Raise the left leg up, 3-leg dog to the left. Exhale, crunch. Shift the weight forwards, left knee to the right tricep. Hold it there. Release. Step the left leg back, 3-leg dog. Exhale, crunch. Bring the left knee to the left tricep, shoulders above the wrist. Option to bend the elbows and hold. Release. Step the left leg back, 3-leg dog. Last one. Exhale at center. Shoulders above the wrist, forehead to knee. Pull the navel up into the spine. Change. Step the left leg back into 3-leg dog. And bring the foot down. Bend the knees, come into an all-fours position. Keep the toes tucked and then walk the hands back to come into a squat position. Hands in prayer, chest length in the front of the body. Compressing the hip area, great for the circulation in this area as we lengthen the front. Now reverse your prayer, press the back of the hands against each other as we prepare the wrist before the first crow. If you have crow in your practice, take whichever variation you'd like to work on today. If it's your first time learning crow, take it one step at a time with me. Bring the hands shoulder width apart and spread the fingers wide. So make sure that the palms are really gripping, all 10 fingers are gripping into the floor. Then keeping the feet behind the hands, raise the hips up as high as you can towards the ceiling. Raise the heels up as well and work the knees on the outside of the triceps. This is all you need to do. This is where you can stay to begin. If you're ready for more, squeeze the knees in. And then as you squeeze the knees in, you push the arms out. Still keeping the arms parallel to each other. But this counter force between the legs and the arms will support your balance. If you're ready to go even further, bend the elbows, look beyond the mat, and start to play just like a seesaw and shift the weight forwards. Notice how that feels, using the weight of the head to pull you forwards. You might find that lifting one toe off the mat might start to happen naturally, maybe not. You may have to play with it, lift the right, then the left, and potentially both feet at the same time. Takes quite a bit of practice. Keep trying, keep coming back each class, seeing if you can lift one toe then the other till eventually both feet lift up. If you've mastered this variation and you're ready for more, second option is to bring the knees up into the armpits. And from here, the same exact thing, keeping the spine straight, look beyond the mat, shift the weight forwards, weight of the head pulls you forwards till eventually both toes lift up off the mat. Have a little bit more fun with this practice. And you can always hit pause if you wish to keep practicing this posture. When you're ready though, come into Padahastasana with palms the hands to soles to feet variation. Feet hip width apart, chest to thighs. Bend the knees as much as you need to create this contact. Then slide the hands underneath the feet so that the palms are touching the soles of the feet. And the toes are more or less above the wrist. You can wiggle the toes to massage the wrists. Bend the elbows out sideways to give yourself a lovely stretch into the spine as well. And maybe shake out the neck left and right, yes and no, if that feels good. Release the hands, bend the knees, come down into a squat position. Stretch out the front of the body. All right, bring the hands onto the floor, all fours. Dolphin plank, forearms onto the mat, parallel to each other, shoulders above the elbows. Then slide the legs back, keeping the hips in line with your shoulders, so not in the air like we do in downward dog, but hips in line, just like plank. Lock the knees, push the floor away, and hold it here a few deep breaths, building the upper body strength as well as the whole core working here to maintain the posture. Beautiful. To release, bring the knees and hips down, lengthen the front of the body. A deep breath in Sphinx. Dolphin plank, hip drops. If you find the hip drops too challenging, take a second set of dolphin plank. Otherwise, come back into dolphin plank. As an option, you can interlace all 10 fingers. Then zip up the legs, bring the legs together to touch. And with your exhale, dip the hips to the right. Come back to center and bring the left hip to the mat. back to center. Dip to the right, center, to the left, center. 2 more sets at your own pace. Last set, dipping the hips to the right, back to center, to the left, center, and release into Sphinx. Stretch out the front of the body. Bring the hands down. Come into a kneeling position. Walk the hands in front of the knees, tuck the toes, and then walk the hands back. Squat. Preparing for side crow. If you have side crow, once again, go straight into it. Play with whichever variation you prefer. If you are working on this, 1 step at a time with me. It starts with both hands shoulder width apart, as we did earlier. Zip up the legs, turn and twist the knees to the right. To begin, focus on the twist and bringing a bit more weight into the hands. When you're ready for more, lift the hips up as high as you can to try and bring the left hip towards the left tricep and the left knee towards the right tricep. Now you'll likely have to slide the right hand back quite a bit to make sure you create this contact. We are aiming to create a 90-degree angle into the arms. Stay here as long as you need to. When you're ready for more, arch the spine, look forwards, and play with shifting the weight. Maybe one toe, then both toes lifting off the mat. Have a few goes on the right side. And then have a few goes to the left. Same thing, twisting the knees to the other side. Make sure that you create the contact between the triceps and the thigh. Your arms are your base. Focus on the arms to begin. Push the floor away. Spread the fingers wide and press with all 10 fingers into the mat. Lovely. When you had a few goes, come back to center. Sit onto your hips for Boat Navasana. Hands by the side of the body, lift the heels up. Option to raise the shins up parallel to the ceiling, then lean back, create a V shape between the torso and the thighs. If it's too intense, you can always drop the toes down. Otherwise, keeping the shins parallel to the ceiling, release the arms parallel as well and hold it there for 3, 2, 1. Release. Bring the hands and feet down. Second set. Inhale, lengthen the spine, lean back into a V shape and go straight into the same variation you just did. Either heels lifted, shins parallel, or even arms parallel. If this is your second set and you want to go all in, a more advanced version would be that to extend the legs. Just make sure if you do extend the legs, you don't lose the form. Keeping the spine straight, pull the navel in, hold it there. Last 3, 2, 1. Release. Bring the feet down. Roll the spine down onto the mat for our reclining crow. Just as we did earlier in the crows, pushing the floor away, we're going to imagine we're pushing the ceiling away. So lift the arms up parallel to the wall. Then bring the knees towards your forearms. Take a deep inhale and push the hands up towards the ceiling. Lift the shoulders off the mat. Crunch the core. Keep squeezing the knees against the triceps. Lift the hands a little bit higher. Chin away from the chest. Breathing smoothly through the nose. We are mimicking crow. And instead of pushing onto the floor, we are imagining to push away from the ceiling. Hold it there. Release. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, crunch back up. Slide the arms up onto the knees, sliding the hands up closer to the ceiling. Push the ceiling away. Keep the fingers spread wide. Squeeze the knees in towards your triceps. Pull the navel in towards the spine, pressing the lower back into the floor. Keep breathing smoothly in and out through the nose. Lift the hands up to the ceiling. Squeeze. Release. Take a deep breath. Side crow. Lying down. This time zip up the legs. Turn the arms towards the right side. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, crunch up. Trying to lift up as high as you can. Pull the navel away. Release. Back to center. Turn to the left. Exhale, crunch up and slide the arms up towards the ceiling. Twist to the left. Hold it there. 3, 2, 1. Come back to center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch up at center, turn and twist to your right. Slide the arms up, mimic side crow. Hold it. Release, roll the spine down. Exhale, crunch up, turn and twist to the left. Slide the hands up to the ceiling. Push the arms against the legs against the arms. Lift the shoulders a little bit higher. Release. Come back to center. Arms by the side of the body. Bridge. Push the hips up to the ceiling. And stretch to release the whole front of the body, the abdominal area we've worked into. Slowly release the spine back down, one vertebra at a time. And then bring the knees in towards the chest. Drop the knees to the right. Place your right hand onto the left knee and slide the right leg back. Reaching the left hand to your right foot or ankle. Spine twist. Gently untwist, come back to center. Bring the knees to center. Drop them to the left. Bring the left hand onto your right knee. Slide the left leg back. And reach with your right hand to your left foot or ankle. Turn and twist. A final deep twist. Gently untwist. Slide the legs away. Bring the arms by the side of the body and make yourself as comfortable as possible into your final Savasana. Take a few deep breaths here, allowing the whole body to completely relax. Notice how you feel. Give yourselves a few moments here to take in all the benefits from your hard work, from your practice. And remember, you can always stay a little longer in your final Savasana. Thank you for joining and sharing your energy and practice virtually with all of us. Wishing you an amazing rest of your day. Namaste.